Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. This is a card with a removable ornament. So much fun to make. And I have some super cute stamps and a really cool die set from Trinity Stamps that makes a snow globe shaped card. It's right here. It's the Snowglobe Die Set. Of course, there are dies to create a card shaped like a snow globe, the detail dies, and fun little pieces to put in it too. So I am die cutting this on one sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper with my giant platinum die cutting machine. And you can see I can cut the card and the snow globe shape in one pass. But if you have a smaller machine, you're going to cut your paper and cut them separately. But I just wanted to show you how they fit onto this 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So you're going to save all these pieces to create your card, and I'll show you how I put mine together. I die cut the base from some foil paper because I love how it presses into the paper, the detailed lines. I die cut some extra snow globes, and one of those pieces I folded in half, and now I'm going to trace that opening because I need a solid back for my card. Now, if I'm just building a snow globe shaped card, I don't need the solid back because the card base is that piece, but I want mine to be removable from the card. So I just trace the die cut and then cut it out, and that gives me the solid piece that I need. So I'm going to fussy cut this out right on the pencil line, and that's going to be the perfect size that I need. So here's some super fast cutting because I'm really good at it. Just kidding. Actually, fussy cutting has taken me like a lot of practice. I like to hold the paper with my left hand and turn it as I hold my right hand still and cut with the scissors. So I've got 3 of these insert pieces. The background I'm going to use to create my background of my scene. There's a little die that creates like a little snowy hill. I'm die cutting that from one of the pieces so it'll be exactly shaped like the other backgrounds on the edges, just like that. The next one, I'm going to do some ink blending with Distress Oxide in Salvaged Patina because it's like my favorite color. I love it so much. So I'm going to do a little heavier ink blending at the bottom and fade it out really light. It's a small piece. I was totally fine with just one color. So now I'm going to spritz it with some water and give it, that little oxidized look of splatter. I also adore splatter. You'll see more of it. Just wait on this card. I am going to dry this a little bit because I'm going to die cut from it and I want it to be super dry. So the die is from the set. It creates this snowy look. So you can use this and have that kind of snow globe look without it being a shaker, but you can also save the fallout pieces and use those to create a shaker. So many fun things you can do with this die set. So here I am just showing you how to scrape those off with your die. I like to use my die as a scraper. I also like to throw my die down on my glass mat to help it release the little fallout pieces. So there's my snow globe. You can see I backed it with white, but now we need to create the scene. So I have the Bunny Burrow stamp set, the Mouse House stamp set, and the Winter Burrow set. These are the stamp sets that got me started with Trinity Stamps. So I had to bring them out. I love them so much, and they are good for all seasons. Like I'm going to use some mushrooms today on my Christmas card because why not? I love them. So I'm coloring up my images with some Copic markers, and I have T2 and T1 for my mouse, so just some really light grays. Very simple coloring today. The images are really small, so you don't have to get fancy. I am now adding some color to the mushrooms. I switched over to W4 for my grays to give them a little more warmth, and that is a great look for the mushrooms. And then for the tops, I have some of my favorite reds. So R29 and R17. If you're just doing like a little bit of coloring like this, really small areas, I like these 2 colors together, especially for mushrooms. The R17 has a titch of orange in it. So I have some greens, G16 and G19, and then some BG colors for the scarf and the hat. So a little kind of teal in there, a little turquoise maybe. And I am loving these colors together. I use this color combination for Christmas a lot. I know, it's like my favorite. Now I'm adding some highlights. You can see I add a little pink to the inside of the ears and some orange to the carrot nose. But other than that, just really fun coloring on these little images. And all of them have coordinating dies to die cut them out, so I love that, and I'll set to die cutting them out. I like to do one set of dies at a time and then move on to the next set so I can put them away, not get them mixed up. And I did use images from all three of those stamp sets I showed you today. I love to add the little worm in my scene. It reminds me of the like Richard Scarry books, and I just think it's fun to have that little extra something in there. So my snow mouse got a scarf and the little mouse got his hat, and they decorated the mushrooms with some wreaths for the holidays, and the little candy cane goes right in the mouse's hand. So cute. All right, let's start building the scene. So the blended background goes on top of the solid white background, and then the snowy hill goes at the bottom, and they all layer together so beautifully. Now we need a little bit more snow, a little bit more splatter, right? You were thinking that, I'm sure. This is Sparkle Silk from Spellbinders, and I'm splattering it all over, like a ton of it, because it's, you know, clear shimmer, and I'm going to put a lot of stuff on top. So I always make sure to overdo it when I am layering things on top. All right, so speaking of layering, I have 3 layers of the snow globe. I really should have done 4 because the mechanism that holds my ornament to my card is kind of adding some thickness to the card, and you'll see, I'll show you, but really 4 of these is going to work best, or 5 depending on the weight of your paper. So the mechanism that's holding the card together are these thin paper crafting magnets. You're going to need one with the plus symbol and one with the minus symbol so that they stick together, right? And as I'm building this, I realized I really need 2 sets of magnets because it's such a big piece. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the positive side of the magnet on the solid snow globe, the one that I traced and cut out, and I'm holding that down with a glue dot so it sticks to the paper. And then I'll flip it over and magnet the negative one to it, put a glue dot on the back of it. And here's where I decided to add the second set, so I'm getting those out, and I'll repeat this. So the positive on the front of my snow globe, and I'm sticking that down with a glue dot. It fits on there perfectly. Flip it over, magnet the little magnet to it, and add a glue dot to the back of that. So what I'm going to do, or be able to do now, is have the magnets lined up perfectly and stick them down to my card base. So the card base needs to have magnets and the ornament needs to have magnets, so they stick together and it's removable. You could also now cover those negative magnets, but I decided to leave them so it was a visual example of how the card is held together for video purposes. Okay, now I have some extra thick cardstock that I am adding instead of foam squares because I needed this to be a certain height to match the height of the magnets. So instead of foam squares, I'm just using thick cardstock. So I'm just gluing that down 2 layers thick. I do go back and add more because I am all about cards being sturdy, but you'll see it in a minute. I'm adding the frame of my snow globe first so that I can perfectly line up the center. There you can see I have extra bits to glue down my background to. So right now, or right there, I realized the frame needs to be thicker, so that's why I say you need to cut more, like 4 or 5 layers of the snow globe that goes around the background. But I also need a hanger, so I am taking a bit of red twine, tying a knot at the end, sandwiching that knot between 2 glue dots, and then I just tuck it between that background and the frame and squish it down. Then I am going to add all my cute things. So let's build our cute little Christmas scene. I'm adding the mushrooms on first. They're so cute with those wreaths on them. I love that touch. And then we'll add our little snow mouse and glue him in place. And then we'll add our little mouse, and he's building his snowman and ready for the holidays with his candy cane. So precious. And then comes the little worm. Yeah, there he is. I couldn't decide exactly where to put him, but he has to join in the fun. Okay, so I die cut another frame, but I already have my really awesome foiled base on there, right? That red foil paper. So I'm just going to cut the top away from the bottom, and this is white glitter paper. So since I had to add another layer, why not glitter paper? Also, it's going to help sandwich that red twine down a little bit too. So I glued that in place, and now the levels of my card are smooth. I wanted to add a sentiment, so I pulled out the Merry Christmas Senti-mini stamp set and die set, and I actually die cut the word Christmas from that red foil, and I'm gonna have a little punny sentiment. I am stamping "Have a Mice," and I covered up the word day with a piece of tape so I could stamp just those 3 words. And then I'm gluing it to my card using my Crafty Gluefriend from Trinity Stamps. I was able to save the little dot from the eye. It's called a tittle. I'm putting glue on the back of it here as it's stuck still into the paper that I die cut it from. And then I can hold that over the eye and just press it down. And there's my dot. Love it. Then I'll add my sentiment that is smaller right above that, and it fits on there perfectly. I love it. Okay, so now for a little bit of embellishment. These are Winter Sky clay embellishments. They're a very, very light blue with a white snowflake in the center. And so this is going to be a kind of a subtle embellishment because my card has a lot going on in it already. So these are a nice addition because they're not too busy. Right? I love it. All right, I had to do something on the inside of this card. Luckily, since the front of this card is an ornament, that part is going to be saved, but I wanted there to be a little something interesting on this card when there's no ornament on it. So I went ahead and put some more stamped images on the inside as well as a frame of the snow globe. And then I wanted there to be a little bit of explanation as to what's going on with this card. So I pulled out the Papercrafting Magic stamp set and stamped, "This is no ordinary card," which don't you think you could use that on any handmade card? Yeah. Then I hand wrote in, "The snow globe is an ornament." And I think that'll be a nice little thing to read if they don't already figure it out. And then I signed my name. And there it is, a personalized card with ornament. I love that. I love having 2-for-1 cards, like a card that has hidden money in it or, does extra things. Interactive elements are so fun to add to your cards, especially at Christmas. If you need like one like super special card, this definitely is not a card I am going to mass produce, but I think that it's fun to have like a special card for a certain someone, and then they are able to remember it because they have the ornament to take off and hang up on the tree. So I thank you so much for stopping by. If you're interested in the supplies that I have used, they are linked for you in the description box below. And of course, I love chatting with you. So leave me a comment and I will be there chatting with you very soon. And if you did like this video, you can let me know with a thumbs up. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. I have new paper crafting videos all the time. So I'll see you very soon on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!